A dispute has arisen. A president, a live president, and his wife of Venezuela have been captured, taken to the territory of the Americans. Today, they are going to be indicted at the American court. They'll face the law of America. We shall be looking at court helicopter, the trial in America. Remember, the trial process in America is different from the trial process in Kenya. In the fourth episode, we shall be looking at the juror system. We shall be looking about the indictment law. But today, we are looking at what does the world have as a dispute resolution mechanism when such an issue arises. Our focus is the United Nations Security Council. What is this animal called the United Nations Security Council? This is the organ of the United Nations that deals with the disputes between countries. Remember, there are other courts, which we are going to look in episode 4, when we shall be looking at the International Crimes Court. We are going to look at the International Court of Justice. We are going to look at the African Court of Justice. All those ones, we are going to look at the legal mechanisms. But today, we are looking at the international, that is the United Nations Convention, that's the United Nations Security Council. Who are the members of the United Nations Security Council? We have 15 members forming the council. Under the 15 members, we have two categories of members. We start with the 5 permanent members. The members that are permanent is China. Get the words. Permanent is China. 2, France. 3, Russia. 4, the United Kingdom. And lastly, the USA. These are permanent members. They were born with it in 1945. They'll die with it. All these countries, there is no country from Africa. I repeat, the 5 permanent members, and why I'm insisting on repeating, it is how they make decisions. Mark why I'm repeating the 5 of them. China, superpower. France, superpower. Russia, the superpower. UK, the superpower. And the USA. These are permanent. Then we have 10 non-permanent members. These ones are elected for a 2-year terms by the General Assembly, 2 years or 1 year. The 10 of them. At one time, Kenya was here. But that is a temporal job. I call them casuals. They are not permanent. They are 1, Bahrain, a small tiny country. Colombia, a small tiny country. For Africa, we have Democratic Republic of Congo sitting there. Denmark, Greece, Latvia, also an African country called Liberia, Pakistan, Panama, and lastly, Somalia. The non-members are 10. So the question is, how do they work? This dispute will be brought to the Security Council. How do they vote? And how do they pass a resolution? Each of the 15 members shall vote to pass the resolution. Venezuela has taken this case there. They want America to be punished. They want America to be told, return this person. The only way the UN will pass a resolution is if the 5 member countries vote together. The 5 countries that we talked have what is called a veto vote. A veto vote. Kwa Kiswahili wanasema kura turufu. A veto vote means if a discussion is on the table, the 5 must agree and vote for it. If one country among the 5 vetoes and says no, the resolution dies. The resolution dies. The 5 must agree. So the question that is there today, America is an accused country. It is the one that is being accused to have interfered with Panama, with Maduro. But it has a vote called the veto vote. People will talk, it will come on the table. When there is voting, it will vote no. That's the end of it. There can never be a UN resolution if one country votes no. When Manuela Noriega was captured in Panama, America was taken to the UN Security Council. America and its friend the UK vetoed. They voted no. The case got lost. When Iraq was captured by the Americans and the Americans were taken to the Security Council, the Americans and their ally, the UK, vetoed, and that ended. That is exactly what is going to happen today. That is exactly what is going to happen forever. They can never and never have a resolution. Those ones who knew the fight for apartheid, the fight to get South Africa, get independence, every time the question came to the UN Security Council, they vetoed. The Americans and the British vetoed. And there's nothing that could be done. What does that mean in the justice system of the Americans? I know Kenyans think about the majority. The Supreme Court in Kenya will decide by the majority. We know in the Court of Appeal, a decision is captured by the majority. We know the IBC, the President of the Republic of Kenya, is whoever gets 50 plus 1. That is not what happens in the UN Security Council. The 10 non-permanent members, Somalia, Liberia, Congo, Latvia, are flower girls. They have no voice. All the 10 non-permanent members have nothing to do. They will shout, they'll make noise, they'll throw tables, they'll throw shoes, they'll bang tables, they'll make noise. At the end of the day, the big boys, nowadays they are not big boys, they are the big girls. China, France, UK, Russia, and America. If one's interest is at stake, I'm telling you the truth, nothing will happen. This is what we say. We are not likely to see any justice for Maduro in the UN because America and its colleague, the UK, will veto that, and that will be the end. But a lot of discussions a lot of arguments, a lot of hullabaloo. We have seen almost 99% of the countries have said America did wrong. But America knows very well they have a veto power. They are not subject to the UN Security Council resolution. The resolution against America can only pass if 5 of the permanent members vote. And I've told you, America cannot vote for itself, against itself. America will vote to protect itself. UK has confirmed that it is standing together with the Americans. So there are 2 votes. China, Russia, and France. France might also be with America. We are likely to see 3 veto votes against 2. The question that I want as Court Helicopter to bring to you, is it really a regime change, or is it about the oil in Venezuela? That is a question that every citizen of this country is supposed to think about. And how does it relate to Kenya? Kenya, we have discovered gold at Ikolomani in Luyaland. Kenya, we have discovered coal, massive coal, in a place kwa mtu rafiki yangu anaitwa Cyrus huko in Kitui. Kenya has discovered a lot of minerals in Taita Taveta, in Kwale. We discovered, a friend of mine called Lewis went to Turkana and told me they have discovered massive oil fields. If Trump has an interest, if the Americans have an interest for those minerals in this country, what will stop the American president coming and picking William Ruto and taking him, and they take that gold? I want Court Helicopter to bring to you, recently, 2 weeks ago, the Americans attacked Nigeria. They threw bombs in Nigeria. Why? The oil fields in Nigeria. Are minerals and natural resources a curse to countries that have them? Is Congo right now under turmoil because of the minerals in that country? Trump has been warning the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, about the question of gold and minerals in South Africa. So the question we are saying, why were these 5 countries given such powers? In the charter itself, they said because their key role in establishment of the United Nations, and that they would continue to play important roles in the maintenance of international peace and security. In the United Nations Charter, there are 5 countries are given another role to maintain international peace and security. The role that is normally called the international policeman. They are called the big brothers. Remember, before the Cold War, and after the Cold War, every other time you have had the Kenyans, when the Gen Zs cracked down, people are calling America, come. Right now, African citizens are calling America, come. Whenever you see America, you see the international policeman. And that is the role why they were given the veto. That is why whenever we have a problem, we summon the American, we petition the American ambassador. Whenever a Kenyan president, whenever a president of America decides to visit Africa, it is such a big honor. Why? Because the UN has given them another bigger role. They have a duty to protect international peace. So, has Trump now gone back to get that role of the international policeman? True. And every president in Africa, and every president who is a dictator, and every president who has committed crimes that we talked about, crimes of international nature, especially the drugs. I'm telling you, Kenyans, President William Ruto was recently in the White House meeting Trump. His talk, after he has come back, he has already said he is going to employ 700 DCI officers to deal with the drugs. A special unit is being created or enhanced at the anti-narcotics wing of the DCI to deal with the drugs. Trump's story said that he will not sit and see American children, American citizens being destroyed by drugs. Is that the message President William Ruto is talking? Is the President of the Republic of Kenya following instructions from the international cop called the American president of the Big Brother regime? So that is what we are seeing. Lastly, what is the last way of voting? Suppose the Americans decide it's okay. Public pressure has been more on us. How can they move to it? There is another method that a super veto state can abstain. That's a new method. If a vetoing state, the permanent member state, abstains, that is, it does not vote, the 4 vote, then there is a requirement that the resolution must have 9 people endorsing. So 4 vote, America abstains, then other 5 countries vote, and they have 9 votes. That resolution will pass. That is another angle. Is America going to abstain to vote? America has always, whenever it is an accused person, it has always used the veto power. So we are not going to see this type of voting being implemented, but as court helicopter, our duty is to educate you that a permanent member cannot abstain from voting, and if he abstains from voting, the others will vote, and plus the non-permanent members, if they have a quorum of 9, that resolution will be adopted and it will form a resolution of the United Nations Assembly. Wakili Danstan Omari brings it to you, always in a very controversial manner, and at the right time. The Maduro question is a global question. Follow the episodes that we have covered. The last episode about the Maduro issue, as we said, is a trial process, which we shall be looking at how the American trial process is going to go, and also the international courts that this matter is likely to appear. Keep watching, keep subscribing, keep always seeing court helicopter, bringing it to you live from court, live from our court helicopter studios, where we bring it live. Enjoy your happy new year. But keep watching your security to be alert. Let them not sleep like the Maduro security team. Asante.